You want a review? I don't have a VHS player. Hello and welcome to Good or Bad. So it appears someone thinks it's time I take a look at the original Ringu. So, hello and welcome to Good or Bad, Ringu! This movie was directed by Hideo Nakata and was based on the novel written by Koji Suzuki. And my god, was it a hit! And no, I'm not just saying that for fear of my life. It genuinely was a hit. To date, this is the highest grossing horror movie in Japanese filmmaking history, which naturally meant sequel after sequel after sequel would follow. And of course, an American remake as well. And sequels for that too. But they're a story for another time, so let's begin. And I want to start off by saying that this movie, as all great horrors are, is all about the build-up and suspense, which is made very apparent to us in the movie's opening, where we see two girls joking around, when it's revealed one of them watched what is said to be a cursed tape, which she didn't believe in. But then it turns out that the curse is real! Obviously. I mean, what kind of a horror movie would it be if she watched a cursed tape and then everything was fine? No, she dies. In a freeze frame, which is how everyone dies in this movie actually. Sadako just freeze frames them to death. Except for that guy. He doesn't get a freeze frame, but that's fine, because I think it's a very moving death scene. But yeah, sorry, tangent. All we see in this opening kill is, well, not much at all. We hear a few creepy sounds, the TV turns on, then she turns it off. Then she is prescribed a fatal dosage of death! As opposed to a non-fatal death. Okay, before I go on any further, I guess I should give you the rundown on my good friend, Sadako. Evil cow. Sorry. Love you loads. So it all started off with her mother, Shizuko Yamamura, who had psychic abilities, who her doctor, Dr. Ikuma, became fascinated with, to the point where he would demonstrate her abilities to the public. He also ended up marrying Shizuko and became Sadako's stepfather. And when they realised Sadako had psychic abilities, it became apparent that her abilities were far more dangerous than that of her mother's, as she could kill a person just by looking at them. Which I'm very aware of right now. I mean, to be fair, it's only to be expected when the biological father is suggested by the movie to be otherworldly sea goblins. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Also, I love that this website lists her abilities and puts death staring on it. Watch it, Luigi. You got competition. But yeah, Dr. Ikuma did a very stepfatherly thing and twatted her on the head and left her to die down a well. And if you are anything like me, you will find this scene fucking hilarious. It's just the sound effect, it just makes the scene feel really, really goofy. So after Sadako died, her fury created a curse that infested a videotape, which if anyone watched, they would have 7 days, then Sadako would come and kill them to death. Oh, and they also get a phone call immediately after watching the tape. Well, no, that's only kind of true. You do get a phone call, if you watch the tape in cabin B4, which is directly above the well that Sadako died in. If you watch the tape anywhere else, you don't get treated to a phone call. Although, what if you had an underground bunker beneath the well and watched it there? Do you just have to be in line vertically with the well to get the phone call? Maybe she has a very short-ranged phone signal. I think this needs to be explored more, don't you? So if you want that full curse treatment, you better head on over to cabin B4. Or, you know, just be in one of the later movies that completely abandons this idea. But how did the curse infest the videotape? Well, the movie explains this right at the start, actually, by saying that someone who was staying in the cabin right above Sadako's well tried to record a TV programme, but essentially ended up recording Sadako's psychic rage instead. Yeah, videotapes definitely had their glitches, but you know what? Aside from the odd death-inducing recording, they were a pretty neat invention. Don't worry though, it's not all doom and gloom, because there is a way out of the curse, which is to spread the curse by creating a copy of the tape and showing it to someone else. Unfortunately, the tape doesn't come with a manual, so most people don't figure this out, and they end up turning into a movie still. But you know what? I like the cursed videotape idea, because it separates Ringu from most other horror franchises, which usually boil down to, if you're related to me, I'll kill ya. If you come into me woods, I'll kill ya. If you come into me house, I'll kill ya. Whereas with Sadako, it's more like, if you watch me cursed tape, I'll kill you. Oh, it really is pretty much the same thing, isn't it? Except for the create a copy and show someone else. Yes, that's the bit that's refreshingly different. A bit. Sort of. Well, not really. You see what I've done here? I've said something about the movie and immediately gone back on it. Now I'm digging the hole even deeper for myself. Yeah, a hole in the ground. Kinda like a well. Like Sadako's well. Yeah, I think I've saved that actually. I probably didn't. I just made it worse, really. So moving on. Main characters. This is Raiko Asakawa. She is played by Nanako Matsushima, who seems to be a reportery type person, who is investigating a supposed cursed tape, where a bunch of people died exactly 7 days after watching the tape together. Sounds like a coincidence if you ask me. Ooh, actually, that reminds me, Sadako doesn't kill everyone who watches the cursed tape. If you watch the tape as part of a group, she only goes for one of you. The rest of you still died, you commit suicide at the same time, and yes, the curse is still claiming you, but Sadako doesn't kill you herself. I mean, the way you commit suicide could be far more horrifying for you than the way she would kill you, so it could actually be worse. Depends on the way you go, really. But, point is, she only goes after one person, which makes me wonder how she picks that person. Is it just the one that's closest to the well? I mean, to be fair to her, you can't very well expect her to be everywhere at once. I know she is a supernatural entity, but come on, a creepy girl's got limits. I mean, she's got to put a face on and everything before she wiggles her way through your telly. But anyway, our other main character is her ex-husband, Ryuji, who is played by Hiroyuji Sanada, whom she had a son with, called Yoichi, who is played by Rikiya Otaka. And Ryuji is psychic as well, which helps them figure everything out. I do love a plot convenience. And all three of them, at some point in the movie, watch the cursed tape, starting with Asakawa, as she finds the tape while investigating the tape. Well, you can't fault good investigative work with her. Then she unknowingly saves herself from the curse by creating a copy and showing it to Ryuji. And after they both believe in the curse, Yoichi sneaks a watch of it too, which gives them added incentive to find a way out of the curse. And just why did Yoichi decide to watch it? Was it a dumb child moment where Mummy told me not to, so I'm going to do it anyway? No, but that could have worked. But instead, they have it so that the spirit of Tomoko, the girl that died at the start of the movie, persuaded him to watch it. You see, once the curse claims you, you don't just die. Oh no. That would be far too nice. You actually become part of the curse and come back as what they call an onryo. And these onryo have varying purposes as the movies go on. But Tomoko's role in this movie was to spread the curse by convincing Yoichi to watch it. And like I said before, now that their son has watched it, they have added incentive to lift it, which involves analysing the tape and trying to find any leads they possibly can from it. Fortunately, a woman appears in the video who is revealed to be Sadako's mother, and ultimately that leads to them finding out that Sadako is the one behind all of this. And when they find out how she died in such a horrifically cruel, yet funny and goofy way, so they think if they can find the body and lay it to rest, that will lift the curse. And the scene where they find the well, which is towards the end of the movie, is one of my favourite scenes in the film. Because with showing very little, they paint a horrific picture of Sadako surviving that whack on the head and drowning to death at the bottom of a well, alone and afraid, after giving up on trying to claw her way out where she lost all of her fingernails in the process. And we don't see her trying to climb out. In fact, we never see her down there at all. All the movie does is have Ryuji spot the nails still stuck in the stone, and we see him make that assumption. And that's all you need, because the way we can imagine her dying is far more haunting than anything the movie could actually show. Which is a great example of less is more. So yeah, they find the remains, call the authorities, and when Asakawa doesn't get her visit from Sadako, they assume the curse is lifted. But as I said earlier, what saved her was making a copy of the tape. But Ryuji hasn't made a copy of his own now, has he? Which means... yeah, so at the end of the movie, we finally get to see Sadako crawling out of the TV. The first of many TVs. And once Ryuji is dead, Asakawa figures out why she survived and he didn't. And because Yoichi still has a little time left on his clock, the movie ends, leaving us to believe that she is going to have him make a copy of the tape and show it to his grandfather. Which is unfortunate for him, but I guess, as a mother, she would do anything to save her son's life. So that's the gist of Ringu, and I have to say, I really enjoyed it. It has a good amount of suspense, and the effects are pretty good for a 90s horror movie. The cinematography is really nice, and gives the movie a dark and gritty edge. Even the opening was effectively creepy, and all that was a mass of water at night, with music over it. Yet it worked so well. Now I can't speak for the book as I've never read it, but I can say that as a movie in its own right, it's definitely worth watching, even if you have already seen the American remake, which from what I can remember follows the story pretty closely, but it's still definitely worth going back to the original. And I have to hand it to this movie as well, the characters are all very good. There wasn't actually one single character I didn't like. So yeah, that's Ringu. It's a pretty solid movie that kickstarted a franchise that's still going today. I mean, it might not be going well, but it's still going. You have been watching Good or Bad, and I'll see you next time.